Hey everybody, welcome to the second round of the Pappy's Pauper challenge. I'm going to be playing tonight against MTG Vintage Crack. I'll be playing the same Affinity list I played last time. We're just waiting on our opponent to give us a challenge so that we can get started, but we can take a quick peek at the list, or you can take a quick peek at the list to see what's going on if you haven't seen any of my previous videos. We're playing our 16 artifact lands, and then a ton of artifacts to power out things like Mirror Enforcer, Thoughtcast, Carapace Forger, as well as Gearseeker Serpent, and then our big finish, which is Atog, which gets very big when you sacrifice artifacts to it. And then we can use Fling and Temur Battle Rage to close the game right away. So let's get into it pretty quickly. We are kind of scheduled to get going right away. Our opponent I messaged me about 10 minutes ago, and I was just having some dinner, so we'll maybe pause our recording and come back. Oh, he's ready to go, it looks like. Well, that's perfect. I'm excited to get a match. Okay. Alright, so we are ready to go. We'll play our affinity list and see how this works. It looks like we've won the die roll here, so we will be happy to take the play. And we look at this hand here, which has a colorless land, a Flare Husk, 2 ways to produce colored mana, but no second mana source. This is a very different hand if one of these other cards is a Springleaf Drum, but in the case that it's not, we are banking pretty hard on finding our second land off of our first 2 draw steps, and unfortunately the odds of that are not amazing. So I'm going to take a mulligan here. We look at the exact same 6-card hand as our 7, with the exception that we don't have our Carapace Forger anymore. We have a second Mirror Enforcer, and we've lost our Prismatic Prism. So I'm going to keep this 6 because we do get a scry now, so it gives us a third look at drawing our second land. So we will keep. Chromatic Star is not good enough, so we'll put that on the bottom. And we are going to start with the star here because we are going to crack it right away looking for a second mana source. Opponent's playing some sort of red deck, and they are playing Burn. Okay. This hand's not amazing against Burn. We did not find a second land. And we'll pass. Honestly, I'm surprised that we are playing against Burn in this this second match. I watched my opponent's match last week and saw he was on a bit of a brew on a Black Ponza list, and thought that might be something that he would be looking into, would be playing another kind of brew type deck, but obviously he hasn't, and we are very unlikely to win the game from this point, having missed our third land drop, or second land drop, 3 times in a row. The game does get better for us a little bit. Post-board we have a couple good cards, but it's still going to be a challenge. Burn is very much one of the tougher decks that we have to face when we play leagues. The win percentage that I have against it over about 50 matches is just under 60%, which is reasonable but not exceptional. And you know, obviously him having 5 cards in hand, not having played a third land, it's very likely he's going to have us dead. We do get to play a Frogmite here, which is kind of nice, and we'll even get to play a Thoughtcast. Unfortunately, it's not going to do much for us, but you know, we'll make a show of playing out some lands and spells. Yeah, we're at 4. Hasn't been able to kill us quite yet, but I imagine he's got the win somewhere. Let's find the third land. And play Searing Blaze. We'll go to 1 life, which I assume he's got some way to kill us from here. Apparently not. We will Galvanic Blast our opponent down to 16. I'm not sure that we have a way to kill him from here, but we can put what would be lethal next turn onto the battlefield. Unfortunately, that's not good enough. Yeah, Curse will do it. Okay. Sure. Okay. So we'll go to our sideboard and look to see what we have to bring in. So we have 4 cards to bring in here. We have Dispel, Hydroblast, and Feed the Clan. Give us some disruption for his burn spells. I don't bring in Ray of Revelation in this matchup. I don't find Curse of the Pierce Heart to be a card that we care about at all. If they cast that card even on turn 2, ultimately I'm very happy about it. I love they're going to spend 2 mana playing a card that doesn't do that much. And then sideboarding out, we're going to take out our 2 Ichor Wellspring, as well as the 2 Perilous Research. The reason for that is we don't have enough time to be kind of dirtling, trying to draw extra cards and drawing cards with the Wellspring. We just want to trim down a little bit and get as fast as possible. We need to keep our threats because we need to be able to play our threats, but we do want to kind of take away a little bit of that draw. And looks like we'll be ready for game number 2. Let's hope that we can win these sideboarded games. We would love to play first. This is a very reasonable hand and we will keep it. What's nice here is we have the Chromatic Star to play on turn 1. Gives us something to protect our ATOG from a single burn spell. Opponent's gone down to 5 cards. That bodes well for us, obviously. Anytime burn is kind of forced to keep a 5-card hand, they're a lot slower at getting out of the gates. We'll start with a Great Furnace and a Chromatic Star. There's often some discussion to play a Citadel on 1. On the draw I would, because I don't want to get my land destroyed, and against some other decks I might play Citadel on 1 if they potentially have something like Natural State, but opponent does not have that card here, so we'll get to play our ATOG now, and we will protect it if they try to kill our creature, but they are stuck on 1 land and don't play a spell, so that's nice for us. We are going to play the drum and get this 4 drawn to the battlefield. We don't need to worry about doing 1 damage this turn. We're not going to be sacrificing anything this turn anyways, and so we'll pass the turn. It looks like our opponent's decided he's not going to be able to win from here, which is almost certainly true. We have 4 damage plus 10 is 14, 15. We have lethal next turn or the turn after. So unfortunately 2 kind of non-games there. One where I was stuck on 1 land for too long, and that one he was stuck on 1 land and unable to do anything. Let's hope for more interactive game number 3, and we'll submit. We like our makeup on the draw as well as on the play. Alright, looking at this hand, it's totally keepable. It's not incredibly strong because we're not going to be able to play the Gear Seeker Serpent easily on turn 2 or 3, but we should be able to get out relatively quickly. We should have a turn 2 ATOG, which is good, so we will keep this hand. Opponent leads on Forgotten Cave. So this is the time that I will play the Citadel on 1. I'm not interested in my land being destroyed by artifact destruction. Opponent plays Curse, so like we talked about, I'm not super worried about a Curse. Even kind of this Curse here, doing its kind of maximum pressure, is not a card that I'm particularly worried about. So here we're going to get to play our ATOG, as well as cast a Thoughtcast. Great. This it looks like set us up for a turn 3 kill. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm going to have to do the math, obviously, once we get to turn 3, but I believe we have him dead on turn 3. So we'll be able to sacrifice some number of our permanents, probably 3 of them, to deal 7 damage, plus this should be able to do 11, plus we'll be able to... so we're going to sacrifice our land. This obviously changes the math a fair bit. Sacrifice our land, and what this does is prevents the damage from Smash to Smithereens, which is obviously great for us. We are not interested in having that hurt us. Okay, so let's do the math here and see if we do happen to have a win. Losing this land obviously makes a big difference. It might be that we just play the Gearseeker Serpent. If we were doing that, we should have played the Seed of the Synod, so that was a mistake, but probably a small one. So if we attack, I can do 7 damage, which puts him to 13, 9, 11. Or I can do 4 damage here, so that would put him to 16. Not attack with this. Sacrifice 1, 2, 3 artifacts. Would be 7 damage. And that would put him to 9. And then the last 2 should be 11. So I think I have lethal here. Let me just, again, double check. So if I start with Galvanic Blast, tapping this, he goes to 16. I go to attacks. I sacrifice 1. Oh, sorry, no. So what I need to do is tap the Springleaf Drum to Galvanic Blast. That puts him to 16. I can then sacrifice 1, 2, 3 things that does 7 damage. That puts him to from 16 to 9. I can tap, tap, sack, sack. That makes this an 11, and that kills him. Okay, so I believe I have lethal. So we'll blast his face. That's 7. Tap both of those. That's 9. It's 11. Had to do the math to see if I had it. Alright, it looks like we were able to take down this match. showing off the power of ATOG and Fling. Thank you for the games to MTG Vintage Crack. It was like Burn is a challenging matchup. The games are obviously very quick. They tend to be over on turns, 3 or 4, 5 often. With it seems like one person tends to kind of be taking over rather than being really like grindy interactive games. So I've previously had 2 Feed the Clans in my sideboard because of the Burn matchup and not liking its kind of close to 50-50 nature. I've since changed one for Dispel and haven't had Dispel in my hand more than once or twice in a situation where like I had to think, oh, would this be better as a Feed the Clan? I don't know if it's come up where I would say yes or no yet, but still something I'm interested in testing. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll be looking forward to posting some more stuff soon. So if you like what you saw here, if you're interested in some Pauper content, please feel free to leave a comment, like the video, or subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much. Bye.